Hey guys, welcome back to day 5. I can't believe we've been grooving together for 5 whole days, and I just can't wait to continue this journey with you. And thanks for showing up on this Wednesday where, I don't know if you know, but on Wednesdays we wear pink. So hop in on that. It'll be really fun. We're gonna spend most of the time on our backs, most of the time just kind of waking up those muscles, supporting the hips, the pelvic floor, all those muscles that hold you up all day, that kind of you dump into when we're leaning far too forward or just really overusing our lower back. Not only do we need to strengthen those muscles, but we need to release them and recruit other areas of the body. So let's do that. Let's start on our backs, taking a few breaths. And once you get on your back, this should just feel really good, just to kind of decompress the spine. We're gonna bend the knees so that you can tickle the heels, that they're nice and close. They're in range. They're not too far forward. They're also not really too far in so that your knees are pushing forward. Yeah? So they're somewhere that is a comfortable setup position for you. And then we're gonna push our elbows into the mat, and our fingertips are gonna reach to the sky. And just kind of before you do anything, feel the back of your head. And just like we did with the feet, feeling kind of where the weight is distributed. Let's rest the hands on the belly, and then the space underneath your jaw, just see if it can kind of melt into the mat a little bit more. Feeling your shoulders get a little bit heavier. Feeling your breath get a little deeper. Yeah, and just kind of melt into that. Maybe close the eyes. Let's just take 3 breaths. I know you got a lot of awesome stuff to do today. So just enjoy the next 20 minutes for you. Take one more inhale. Big exhale. Awesome. When you're ready, open those eyes. Squeeze the elbows back down. And then we're gonna make sure we can wiggle the toes because we want the pressure in the heels. Squeeze the hips up as you lift your hips. Maybe as high as you wanna go, maybe it's just a tiny bit. Take a big breath here. And then exhale from the top of your spine, roll it all the way down, really start to accentuate, even push into the heels so that you can connect your low back before your tailbone. As you inhale, pull your lower belly in, roll your spine up the opposite way, maybe go a little bit higher, squeeze your quads. And as you exhale, shift the weight back down, all the way connecting each vertebrae, just kind of like a wave on the ocean. Inhale, pull your belly in, so you're just kind of like rocking back and forth. Exhale, roll it down, keeping that low belly and then really smushing your tailbone. Even give yourself a little arch in the spine if that feels good. Lots of water analogies, just kind of like you're rocking back and forth on a boat, on a dock. Let's do 2 more big belly breaths. Inhale to lift all the way up, maybe squeeze a little higher. If it feels good to lift the heels as you roll down, that can be really awesome too. And we'll just take one more big sway. Pull your lower belly in. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, roll it all the way down. Bringing your feet as wide as the mat, bringing your arms out like a cactus shape. Just gently drop the knees over to the right, just as far as they want to go, not forcing them. And then just over to the left. So we're just going to windshield wiper. Allow the hip to kind of go with you. Feeling that fascia, that stretch. Just kind of linger in it in a minute. Making it a little bit more of an active stretch. Even pushing the hips forward. Promise I won't blast you with some rad yogi tunes today. But you can always blare your own. Do your thing, have fun with your movement. Let's come back to that hip bridge. So squeeze your elbows in, lifting up. And this time just kind of lift up through the shoulders. Let's get up about as high as we can. And then just kind of check out where those hip bones are. Notice if one of them is wanting to divot to the other side. As we move through these exercises, see how much you can keep them stable, even placing your hands if that helps with tactile sensation. So we're just gonna start by lifting up through that right heel and squeezing through your left glute. Good, take a big breath in, and then drop your right heel, lift up your left heel, squeeze your left glute to keep that elevation. Take a big breath in, exhale, switch sides, drop the left, lift up through the right, but push into the left heel. Maybe those hands are keeping you accountable to letting those hips be steady. We'll just do one more on each side, really squeeze the whole back side of the body. Dropping that left heel, last one on the right, and then we'll finish on the left. Just creating that sweet little burn, just enough to say hello. We'll have a conversation later, don't worry. Drop your hips, take a moment, wiggle that out. So you can stay in that exercise we just did, or you're gonna inhale, lift your hips up. If this was really nice for you, then stay there. Or begin to extend your right leg out, maybe all the way out to straight, really pushing into your elbows, squeeze into your left glute, hold it for 3, lifting up through that right hip for 2, drop your right foot, take a breath, and then extend your left leg out. You really gotta squeeze into the hips, try not to dip down, lifting all the way up for 3, 2, and 1. Let's switch sides. Extend that right leg all the way out. Notice if you want to flex or point your foot, lifting up through those hips, holding it for 3, flex your quad on the right leg for 2, drop your right foot, take a breath, and on your exhale, straighten out through that left leg, squeeze into your right hip. Where are your hands? Where are your hips? Where is your belly breath? Good. Switch sides. And extend. I know I can't see you, but I know you're doing awesome. Extend, maybe lift up through those hips. Maybe begin to straighten up that right leg all the way to the sky, holding it for 3, for 2, you got it. Lower it down, keep your hips lifted. Extend your left leg out, flex your toes or point them, do your thing. Keep your hips lifted. Big breath in, maybe extend your left leg to straight, feel a good stretch through that left side. Drop it down. Drop those hips, take a moment, shake that out. So bringing the feet as wide as your hips, wide as your yoga mat. Let the knees fall in. Take a breath. And then exhale, push your low back into the mat so that the knees almost want to connect a little closer. I like to have the hands on the belly for this one. And then just release that low back. Find that neutral space so that you can, my Pilates teacher used to say little ladybugs can crawl underneath. And that was so fun to think about. But just make sure that they're, you know that they're out from underneath you as you smush your low back. So they're gone. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, push your low back into the mat. Squeeze your knees away from you. Even squeeze the base of your booty so like nothing wants to come in or out, right? And then let that go. Let's do one more just like that. It's really good for the SI joint. Inhale, push your low back into the mat. The ladybugs are gone, or else you would smush them because everything is totally sealed. You're squeezing your legs together. Your knees are almost reaching forward. Exhale, let that go. Bring your feet back to your hip bridge. We're gonna lift all the way up, and then we're gonna lower back down. So we're gonna take about 10 hip bridges, just trying to squeeze both sides of the glutes, back sides of the legs. Make sure that you're pushing into those heels and that the knees are not extending totally beyond the toes. Good, and just give yourself like 2 more. Notice if you want to look at those hips. Good, and then we're gonna hold up on this last one. We're gonna walk those elbows underneath us just a little bit, just so we have a really nice bridge. And then as we hold it here for about 30 seconds, you're gonna squeeze the heels closer towards your glutes so that you're really activating through that backside body. If you notice that you dip down, squeeze your heels back, but lift through your chest to push into your elbows. You've got this. Keep squeezing, keep holding, slightly tucking your chin. Encourage your chest up towards your chin as you lift your hips. And as you breathe into your strong body. Take 2 more breaths. Really squeezing those heels all the way back towards your shoulders. I want you to feel this. Release the squeeze, release the hips, release anything else that you might have been holding on to. All right, so we're gonna just go back into a little bit more hip drills. So hopefully we're feeling nice and alive, nice and awake through those booties. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. So lift those hips, squeeze the elbows down, lift up through your right heel. You can totally stay here. Squeeze your left glute, so wake up that leg. And then if you want more, you're just gonna extend the right leg out. You're gonna hold it here, or you're gonna begin to lift that right leg high. And then exhale, float it to a hover. Inhale, lifting it high. Exhale, float to a hover. So see if you can keep your hips elevated as if you have a block underneath you. If you do have a yoga block, this would be really nice to do too, to work up to giving yourself 2 more reps or just holding that heel high, staying where you are. Last inhale, and on your exhale, drop your right heel, stay in your bridge. We want that burn. Begin to lift up through your left heel. Squeeze those elbows back and under, lifting up through the chest. Wake up the right side of the body. Yeah, if it feels good, just to tap it, like, hey, let's get this going. And then when you're ready, extend your left leg all the way out. If you want to stay here, find your breath, find your push of your hips, your activation, or begin to lift your left foot high, float it to a hover. Inhale, lift it high, float it to a hover. Yeah, I'm trying to keep accountability in those hips. If there's any pain in the low back, come back to the heel lift, come back to your bridge. Squeeze your hips up high. Give me one more really big breath. Extend it down, drop your foot, hold your bridge for a moment so your hips can get to know one another. Lift the heels, roll your body all the way down. Beautiful. Walk those feet as wide as your yoga mat. Coming into those windshield wipers. Maybe open your heart, extend the knees side to side. So good. We got one more hip bridge, I think. So let's lift up through the hips. Let's squeeze our elbows in. And then this time, since our hips are so awake, we're gonna reach our arms all the way to the sky. Imagine you have a block. If you do have a yoga block or something equivalent to that, squeeze your block between your hands, extend through your fingers, but then squeeze your shoulder blades together, like the muscles that are right along with the spine. Just kind of pull them together onto your back. Awesome, so you should have really, really solid ninja arms, like you could break through a block of ice. We're not going to, but you could. Taking a breath here, keep everything in this form. Just start to reach the arms overhead as far as they want to go. Maybe the thumbs touch, and then you extend all the way back to straight. Good, and then inhale all the way overhead. Really reach. Exhale, reach to the ceiling. Inhale, reach all the way overhead, keeping your hips lifted. Exhale, reach maybe to your knees this time. Maybe extend the arms all the way down towards your heels. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, reach all the way to the toes. Keep lifting in your chest. Now, if you want to add in a dip of the hips as you extend your arms overhead, tap your hips down, and then inhale, reach it up as you reach to the toes. Inhale, overhead, hips down. Exhale, squeeze your glutes, lift your hips, reach to your toes. Let's do that a little faster. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Good, so you're really pushing into those heels. You're squeezing those knees out, keeping the hips squared. You're going at your own pace. Exhale, inhale, exhale. We're gonna do 5 more. Just trying to get that heart rate up just a little bit. Connecting your low back on the mat as you reach your arms overhead. Last one. Lower it down. Bring the hands behind your head. Crunch your left knee into your right elbow. Take a breath here. And then exhale, switch to the other side. Inhale and exhale. We're just gonna come into yogi bicycles, really connecting your low back onto the mat. If that's too much, then just maybe extend the head down and do one leg at a time, really connecting your low back into the mat. The ladybugs are gone. Good. So we're gonna be here for about 15 more seconds. So just staying with your breath, getting that full extension on that leg, side to side. Squeezing the elbows out wide. Maybe lifting up your shoulders a little bit higher. Good, extend to the right, to the left. Keep it going. 5, for 4, for 3. You got it. I know that it's burning. And then let that go. Hug your knees in. Awesome. So take about 10 seconds rest. And then we're going to do that again, either with the hands behind the head or hands next to your body, and then you're just gonna crisscross the legs. So kind of shake your head out. Place your hands where you want them, either behind your head or next to your body with your neck down if that strains it too much. And then ready, take a breath. Exhale, start your yogi bicycles. You're either here, you're here with your head down, but your low back better be connected to the mat, or else those ladybugs are gonna come get ya. Good, keep crunching. Keep riding those yogi bicycles. Elbows squeeze out wide, try to get that full extension with that leg. Okay, knowing we're all in this together for 10, 8, 6, 4, stay with it for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly hug those knees in. Good morning, good day, good evening. Good, and then we're just gonna come into a figure 4 stretch. So crossing your right ankle over your left knee. Let's flex through that right foot, lifting up through our leg, so we can just stay here if that's where our range of motion is, or thread your fingers, your hands between your thigh, holding onto your hamstring. If you're still not getting much there, bend your knee, hold on to your shin. Good, so if that's too much, just come back so that you can rest your head. Just invite your body to kind of wiggle side to side. If you want to lean into the left hip, you just get a little deeper on the right side. Big thing is you're pulling your left knee in. Your right knee is gently encouraging away from you. Yeah, just breathing into your hips. Breathing into your day. Your Wednesday. Good, take about 1 or 2 more breaths. Let it be okay to slow things down. Eventually release the leg, drop your left foot down, reach your right leg all the way up, maybe just rotate through that ankle, and then we'll place the right foot down. We'll cross our left ankle over, and let's just go ahead and hug our leg in wherever you did on the other side. If you want to wiggle to kind of get into your groove. Really feeling your low back totally connected. Gently and lovingly hugging that right knee in as the left knee just kind of pushes away from you. So good. Just kind of let your body slow things down, maybe thinking about anything that's going to come after this. Yeah, just give yourself maybe 1 or 2 more breaths, nice and slow, nice and long. And slowly come out of that, dropping your right foot down, extend your left leg all the way up. Maybe rotate through that ankle. And then we're gonna do one more thing on our backs before we switch it up. So bring those arms like a cactus shape. So really we're gonna depend on pushing the elbows into the mat. So feel your low back lift off the mat and then push your low back into the mat. Keep that. It's almost like you're pulling your pubic bone to your belly button. There's this awesome connection. So lifting up into your reverse tabletop, often we like to come really nice and close because that's a lot easier. So make sure that those knees are right over the hips. Take a big breath in the center, smush your low back into the mat. And then on your exhale, drop your knees over to the right, but we're not gonna let them touch the floor. So push into your elbows, gazing straight up to the sky, push into equal elbows. And then once you go to your range, just come back to center, keep your low back totally connected, and on your exhale, drop the knees over to the left. Do not let them touch. Go to your own range. Inhale, reach it up. If this is early in the morning, you might not want to go too deep, right? Because your body is still just waking up, and that's why you're here, because you're wanting to getting everything rolling. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe each time you go a little deeper. If you want more, you're going to straighten those legs before you bend them and come back in. We're gonna do about 2 more on each side. Grooving with your breath. Grooving with your pink Wednesday. Getting it on. Keeping those knees right over those hips. Finish up, even yourself out, equal twists on each side. Before you come back to center, hugging the knees in, give yourself a really big squeeze. Start to rock and roll all the way up if you want to rock and roll a couple times. We are going to roll those knees all the way around, and we're just going to come into a tabletop. All right, and then we're gonna come into a high plank pose. It's really brief. I know you already did lots of core work, so just meet me in a high plank pose and then send the hips up high to a downward dog. So we're gonna come into some lunge twists just to kind of get us ready for whatever's gonna come after this. So take a breath in your down dog. Big exhale. And then you're just gonna lift up your right leg, coming into a plank, and then stepping your right foot outside your right hand. Good, so we've been here before. Send that left hip back. Inhale, open up to the right. Find your lunge twist. Let's go ahead and take about 3 breaths here. As you push energy into your left palm, you reach length through your right arm. Good, and then exhale, bring your hand inside your right foot. Step your right foot back. Stay as low as you can in a plank. Maybe you just kind of tiptoe to build that strength, or you extend all the way back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift up your left foot just about a foot, and then shift forward into a plank. Step your left foot outside your left hand. Find your lunge. You can always drop onto the back knee if that feels better. As you inhale, open up through your chest, extend through your left fingertips. Give yourself about 3 breaths as you wrap that right arm back. Pushing through that right heel. Breathing into your pink Wednesday. Drop your left hand. Try to stay as low in a plank. Again, start to tiptoe the feet or extend all the way out into a plank. Find your downward facing dog. Lift up your right foot about 2 feet. Shift forward into a plank and then step your right foot outside your right hand. Take a breath in the center and then open up to your twist. Good, if you like to shift forward and back, just open up into the simplicity of this physical shape. So good. Exhale, right hand down, stay low in your plank, maybe bend those elbows. If you want more core work, extend that right foot all the way back and then meet in a down dog. Lift your left foot up, maybe just 1 or 2 feet. Shift forward into a plank. Step your left foot outside your left hand. Inhale as you open everything up. Maybe wiggle on those tiptoes. Awesome. Left hand down. Stay in your plank. Bend your elbows. Tell yourself you got this. Step it all the way back into a plank and downward facing dog. Let's do one more on each side. So lift your right foot just about 1 or 2 feet. Shift forward into a plank. Maybe reach your right foot all the way out and placing it down as gently as you can, not like I just did. Inhale, open all the way up with the right fingertips. Exhale, bring your right hand down. Bend your elbows. Try to stay as low as you can in your plank. Extend all the way back. This time, take a push-up and then meet in a downward facing dog. Inhale to lift that left foot just a couple feet. Shifting into your high plank. Maybe reach all the way out and step into your lunge. Open up into your twist. Take a breath. Take a pause. Bring your left hand down. Send your left foot back. Take a full push-up either on your toes or on your knees. Find a downward facing dog. Give yourself 3 breaths to let your head go, just like we did at the beginning with our hip bridges. Feeling the back side of your body. If you want more stretch in the shoulders, just bend the knees and then send the hips up high. Encourage the head to hang heavy. Beautiful. So we've just got one more bit of fire. So we're going to shift forward into a plank, dropping that left knee, pivot onto the back feet so that your the lower leg is perpendicular to your mat. Walk your left hand underneath your shoulder, open up that shoulder, and then extend your right arm up. So you can stay here. You can float that right leg high into your supported side plank, or you can take a full side plank if you're ready to get down on that. Wherever you are, we're gonna hold for about 30 seconds. And we're really just gonna get into our side plank. So imagine your right leg lifting up, flexing through your foot. Notice if your foot's pointing up or down. We wanna keep it right along the horizon. That right shoulder is opening back, so squeeze the space on the back side of your rib cage to open up through the chest. If the gaze is too much, to gaze up in that twist, maybe look down so that you get a nice stretch through that right shoulder. Keeping your right leg lifted. Pushing your hips forward. Squeezing your shoulder blades down your back for 5. For 4. 3, 2. Right hand down. Bring your right foot down. And then just extend the arms out, sending the hips back slightly. Just taking a nice stretch through that right side body. So good. Meet me in a tabletop. Drop your belly gently. Open your chest. And then exhale, round your spine. Good. And then we're just going to come into the other side. So pivoting onto that right foot. Bringing your right hand underneath your shoulder. Begin to extend your left arm all the way up to the sky, like you're reaching for something. And then if you want to, lift up through that left foot. Notice where your toes are going. So we want our toes pointing straight at the horizon. Because it's a new day. It's a Wednesday. And on Wednesdays, what do? We wear pink. Extend your fingers to the sky. Find some space in the right hip, so even push your hips forward so that you can open up through your chest more. Connect to each fingertip into the mat. Trying to keep your left leg lifted. Whew, this is my weaker side, so it does not want to stay lifted like the other one does, which means we have to do this more, yeah? Which means we can always come back here. Give yourself 3 more breaths. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lift, lengthen, and build. So good. Last one. Keep that leg lifted. Keep your hips pushing forward. And then drop your left foot. Extend your left arm all the way out. So you're kind of like in a down dog reach with the upper body. Pushing into the outside edge of the left foot. It's okay for the hips to creep back. All right, and slowly when you're ready, just walk back into that tabletop. And we're going to come into a puppy dog pose. So gently keeping the hips over the knees. And then we're just gonna walk the forearms down, gazing in between the forearms like a goalpost. So if this feels good, if this is where you wanna stay, then just melt your head down, connecting the top of your head here. If you want a deeper version, you're gonna extend those arms all the way to straight. Maybe the elbows gently lift off until you can touch them back down so your chin is either on the mat or your forehead is on the mat. And as you breathe here, I want you to feel your abdomen squeezing in as you exhale to push all that air out. Inhale to expand the ribs. Exhale to melt the heart. Let's do 2 more just like that. So big inhale. Big exhale. Melting through the back side of the body. Allow the hips to stay heavy. Gently lifting your head. As slow as you can, just kind of inch those hands back. Sitting all the way back. So your knees are together. And then just with the palms facing up, find a grounding child's pose. As your shoulder blades melt, as your elbows find gravity. If you're really letting your neck go, you might feel some resistance there. As the vertebrae just understands how to exist right here. If you have any more time to give to yourself in your child's pose, stay, linger, breathe, and connect. But if not, have an amazing day. See you next Wednesday.
plagues me so. So